Good evening, and thank you for joining us on our fourth night of our series of Q&A with the Pontiac mayoral candidates, brought to you by Pontiac United. We want to let you know that Pontiac United does not endorse any of the candidates, and the questions read tonight were submitted by you, the citizens of Pontiac. I'm Ariel Gardner, and I'll be one of your moderators for tonight. I am a resident of Pontiac and have been all of my life, and I work in the city as well. Turning it over to Demar.
I'm Demar Bias, formerly employee of the city of Pontiac, former city council candidate for the city of Pontiac. I guess I'm here to represent the public at large. I have some questions that's being inboxed to me and emailed to me to ask as the general public. And right now, we want to welcome candidate Mark Holland. Mr. Holland, we're giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself before we start asking you any questions.
First, let me say thank you to Pontiac United. I have to put a special shout out to Miss Tracy Hirsch. Also, thank you, Mr. Lucas, that's behind the scenes, keeping us together on screen. To you, Mr. Bias, and to you, Miss Gardner, to the citizens of Pontiac. My name is Mark E. Holland, born, raised right here in this beautiful city. I'm a former city councilman, and I was blessed enough to make it out of the last mayoral primary election in 2017. I'm grateful for those that supported us. And here we are again, that time of year for our election season. So I also wanted to say hello to Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac in entirety.
Okay, well, let's get started for tonight. Our first question is coming from Kim in District 4. It says, our children deserve to have the same education as neighboring school districts and the same technology. How do you plan on helping our failing school district?
That's a great question. I've always been advocate of not only, firstly, just let me say, uh, I believe the Pontiac School District, for what they have gotten the city through that deficit, Ms. Kelly Williams and that entire board. I personally, as a resident, say thank you for getting us out of that deficit. But to the question, the first thing I would like to do is build new schools. I'm 50 years old, and I just don't want to leave here without something set for my children's children. And so my goal is to move our city services from the city campus, move them into the towers. I would like to see a brand new school built with Odell Nils building sits. I would like to see a middle school built for WHRC, take our old city hall, make a museum. And I would like also board to build a new library where the substation sits now for the sheriffs. That way the kids don't have to cross the street. So now you will have a central school right in the middle of our community. You have a remodeled middle school, a brand new high school, a museum, and a library on the central campus. And how we would pay for that is three ways actually. The first way we would pay for it by selling the property with partnership with the school board, selling the property, which is Pontiac High and Pontiac Middle School. Then, secondly, we will go to the Pontiac GERS board and present a presentation to get the backing for additional funding. And then, thirdly, since we have the cannabis industry here, we will try to make the cannabis industry additional partner to provide the loans, the backing that we need to get these new buildings built. Uh, I do think it's the environment. And when you look around other communities, regardless if they have failing kids or not, at least they have a comfortable environment to learn. And and let me just say, I am not against the Pontiac schools or what they have done with which always would be Pontiac Northern to me. But I just want to see something different, something that would include all of Pontiac, not just a section of Pontiac, and that's just my belief.
We're not gonna hold that Pontiac Northern comment against you, but you did speak about within your answer to your question, you did speak about the marijuana industry. There's people for it, people against it, and as a candidate, people want to know what is your standpoint on it.
Well, let me just say this, Mr. Bias, Mar, it's too late to be against it. It's passed. It's one vote. It's in here. We have to open our doors. So now we have to not only provide the right resources for those businesses to succeed, then we also have to create a revenue stream that directly gets to the citizens. We also have to get our citizens a part of what's going on. And if you are from our community in Demar, and the first time I met you today, Ms. Gardner, but you say you're a lifelong residency, but you know what's going on here. You know where our economy is coming from, and you know what's getting ready to get blindsided when the dispensaries open. And so right now, we need someone in leadership that's going to what they call connect forward. Someone will have to connect the two, which is I call two, legislative and executive, and I call the other two, which is the streets and the church arena. They're going to have to be brought to speed so we can collaboratively come together and use this marijuana as a positive instead of a negative. Because before it came legal, I don't know why people acted surprised. There's a whole lot of people smoking weed. And a whole lot of people smoking weed and go to church, come home from church to smoke weed. You know? And so then now that it's here, everyone is acting one way or another about it, and it's hurting us as a residency. It's hurting us as a city. And so now we have to come together. Our kids need this. This is $1 billion business. And so how dare us say to $1 billion industry, you got to wait till we get done with this foolishness that's going on right now. It doesn't make us look good at all. So yeah, answer your question directly. Yes, I am for cannabis now. Why? Because it was voted in, and now we have to support the cannabis industry. And to say that, now ask me, do I know a lot about the businesses of cannabis? No, but I have a team. I have a young, older person. I'm gonna call names. I got permission. That's definitely in cannabis, Joe Sinclair, and I have a young brother that is educated in cannabis business, Sam Rogers Jr. That young man right there, not only is he on the ball, he's taught me a lot about it. And so instead of me saying to the citizens, this is what I am going to do, I'm telling the citizens, this is what we're going to do. It's some things that I don't know, but you hire and put people in places that can educate you because no one knows it all. And then that's how everyone comes together and everyone kicks the can down the road, not just one person.
Okay.
And I did forget to mention that some of the questions asked tonight will be asked throughout all of our Q&A series. So the next question is, throughout the years, Pontiac has had mayors that have been visible in the community. How do you plan to be involved in the community?
Well, I'm already involved. I think I just seen Demar maybe 3 weeks ago buying some barbecue. That that's involvement. I am involved. A team of us got together in Clean Murphy Park for the children to have a place to slide. We are involved. We're here every day. I'm paying taxes. I am a lifelong resident. Now, understand, do you mean involved and be on Facebook and say, look at me, I'm at every event? Or do you mean being involved behind the scenes trying to get real things done? So since I've been out of office, I've been behind the scenes having conversations with people, trying to get things done. So when you look up, they're done. So you
Okay.
have
Another question we have is how would you try to solve the city's affordable housing crisis without opening the door to gentrification?
well, that's like a double-edged sword because let me just say it this way: it didn't just start with the city. We first have to audit and see where we are as a city. And then secondly, we have to work with the Oakland County Land Bank. We have to work with the new treasurer because what has happened in the past, a lot of people were getting homes for $10. A lot of people were that's nonprofit. They're getting up the corporations to fix these homes and control the market. And so when you have low cost homes, it affects the comps in the surrounding areas. But when you have a real partnership where you don't take your CBD dollars, the federal black grant dollars, instead of taking those dollars and tearing down those homes, you start taking those dollars and putting roofs on homes. You start putting doors and sidewalks. And now you got places, give people hope for a place to stay. Then you give a person a place to stay, then they'll be motivated to work. And so to avoid gentrification, first we have to look at ourselves and take care of ourselves first. Collectively, I hear about some groups that I won't mention that's collectively pulled their money together and buy things to control. Well, we have to do that together as a citizen, as a citizenship. We have to get together and say, look, we're going to pull our money together. We're going to create a board and we're going to start buying our buildings, buying our homes. And we're also going to work with the new treasurer. So when the homes come, they're now overpriced. They're now raised up in the bidding war. Then also we can give Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, who may have fell behind in this pandemic, an opportunity to keep their homes. It's a sad thing to see somebody you grew up with all your life and have one miss up and then lose their home. That's family. And whether or not people understand us here, we may fall out with each other, but we family. And everybody here knows somebody that knows somebody else. And it affects us. So yeah, we first have to now uncover what's going on. We have to set up a department first, because let me just say this, Demar. It's more than a notion to say just take back the CBG dollars. It's more than a notion to say these things, but you have to have a plan in place. And the plan should have already been in place to control those federal dollars. Those dollars was tearing down homes that should have been fixing homes. Some of those dollars could have been used for the EWAS Center renovation. I know, I met with those people. These are fact. We have people in our community that need those dollars. And then going to the jobs, Demar, listen, my brother, we have to quit depending on Amazon and United Shore and these people to come save us. We have enough contractors and vendors to pull together and we can take care of ourselves. But they need to be invited to the table, Demar. They need an opportunity not to be a subcontractor, but be a contractor. And I asked Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, drive around, drive around and see the construction that's going on within our community and tell me what you see and tell me how many Pontiac contractors that you see that's working on those sites. See, that's how you take care of your community, because now you're getting into local pockets. You're getting local business that's hiring local folks, that's putting local food on the table. Right now, what you have with United Shore, not all, and I'm not offending United Shore employees. I love that they're here. The same thing along with Amazon. I love that they're here. But a lot of those employees drive out of our city limits. What I'm talking about is organizing and bringing our local contractors together. So we can cut grass for 500,000 or whatever the budget may be for that. We could throw asphalt. We could trim trees. We have electricians. We have contractors. We also have vendors in our city that's not getting a fair shake at the table when certain individuals come to our city and party. That's how you take care of ourselves. And then lastly, DeMar and Miss Gardner, I've been screaming since 2017 for the local churches. Give me 5 to 7 churches. You guys can go and buy a charter or write a charter, create a board, hire you a bank manager. They will hire your tellers. Some of these churches have annex buildings. And with the annex building, you can open up a branch. You can't do credit union. You have to do a bank. And then when we become mayor, we can put city deposits in this bank. And when you put city deposits, which is called Community Reinvestment Act, that PNC currently now holds, but when you take those profits and put it into a religious banking system, which is what we have around our community, is a lot of churches. So when you then collectively put them together and create a banking system, and now they can loan for homes. Now we can go to the banking system and get an opportunity to buy a building downtown Pontiac. Now we can get an opportunity to go to a banking system that's required to give us our money, and we fellowship with them. And so until we start creating our own visionary purposes on how to take care of ourselves, we're going to always be controlled by people that move here and then try to tell us what to do. We're always going to have that because we're going to always utilize their services. Just like right now, instead of us using our own community center, which is EWAP, or using our own community center now that Purdue's back in play, we'd rather be on Golf Drive and somebody else's stuff. How does that make sense? Then everybody can come, and I say everyone, I mean different businesses could come to our city, create, grow, and then we got to use their facilities. Then that gives them control. But once we take control of our community, and hear me clearly, I don't just mean Blacks. I mean Hispanics. I mean our Caucasians. My kids are biracial. My wife is 100%. My wife is 100% Hispanic. I mean Pontiac in general. I don't just mean a color. I mean in general. And I ask anyone, drive around my community. You drive around DeMar, and you drive around Miss Gardner, and tell me what you see. And then when you do that, drive straight up Auburn Road into Auburn Hills and tell me what you see then. And then that'll tell you where all the money was coming, where all the money was going over the duration of the past years. Because if there was any fairness to the money and the revenue sharing and the things that's going on, you will see some type of equal. But right now, in my mind, and I can say it as a resident, it seems like the resident of the community is either going backwards or stalemated, and everyone else is building up around us. And that's the problem. No connectivity to the streets, because as you asked me the question about the community, I don't see a lot of people on Prospect or Fieldview or Marshall or the Care Circle, Woodland Heights, where my friends stay that I still have relationships to. Only time I see them in them places during campaign time. And like I said before, tomorrow I just ran into you on 2 or 3 weeks getting us some barbecue. So I'm here. I'm visible. I'm just not part of the Facebook clique visible.
And you mentioned Murphy Park earlier. We have a question from Maria in District 7. She said, growing up, Murphy Park was a beautiful place to take your kids to play, and the rental building was just as nice. Now there are drug deal exchanges that happen there and trash everywhere due to no trash cans. There are no running bathrooms for the children if they are there playing, and no place to sit at all. How do you plan to bring this park back and add more activities for families to enjoy? It's not fair that our children have nowhere to play.
Okay. Well, as a former city council person, there's a budget for Parks and Rec, although we might not have a department. And so as a mayor, you will allocate funds for your parks. That's not just that park, but the surrounding parks. And then you get into your volunteer. You have volunteers around here to help. But here's where the problem comes in. And this is to the city. And if you don't like it when I get ready to say, so be it. But it's a two-part partnership. We cannot continue to go in and clean up these parks and then you guys continue to tear them down. We can't go in there and beautify and then we go out and we leave trash everywhere. Then you get frustration. But as far as Murphy Park, definitely, like I said, behind the scenes, I'm gonna call this name out anyway. If you get upset, Mr. Jonathan Chambers, Gateway Construction is a great. He's a blessed, brilliant man, and he puts together so many charitable things for folks, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of what he's doing. And so I don't want to take any credit or shine from him. But look at what they're doing. We're not waiting for someone to take care of things. We're just doing it. Come on, kids, get some chocolate. Let's make it happen because this is still our home. Now, on the other part, when we do get the funding, again from cannabis, again from different donations, because I still say the cannabis industry is $1 billion business, we got to take care of it. And we got to check folk like, look, pick that up. Look, we just got this beautified. Another thing, since you add about Murphy Park, we got Galloway Park. There was plans on the table to turn that into a water park. So imagine you have a water park, you have sprinklers shooting out of the ground, and envision having a place for your kids to go in the wintertime. Now the water park is turned to an ice land, and that's a beautiful park back there, and it's doable. There's doable. It just depends where you decide to spend your money during the budget season. Yeah, some places get others, some places don't during the budget season. And so to make an excuse why the parks are bad, no, I'm not doing that. The parks are bad because we have let it down collectively. But there are people that's willing to donate. NFL players is willing to donate. NBA players is willing to come back and donate. And once we donate and we get our parks back to where they're at, then we have to start taking care and self-policing ourselves to say no more filth, no more.
All right, thank you for that. Being a former city councilman, I'm sure you have experienced it firsthand in terms of the lack of partnership we've seen over the years between the mayor and city council. If elected mayor, how would you bridge that gap?
Well, let me just say that is a great question because I was a former legislator, so I know what's needed on that side. Now, coming to the executive side, it's all about communication, how you talk to someone. And let me just say this to the community. Former President Patrice Waterman and Kurt, City Council President Kirby Williams, I personally want to go live and thank you guys for your service. Thank you for taking the hits, the bumps and bruises from a thankless job. Uh, I, I want to commend you guys for having the heart to even to put yourselves out there on the line, good, bad, or indifferent, while we still are family. Now, to bring that back to you, Mr. Bias, here's what we have to understand. Everyone has to learn their lane. And again, with Mark, it's a team. I'm not a king. Only king I am is here in my home. But in the streets, we are together. And what they have done, they have taken community-based positions. Hear me. There was a time that these seats were volunteer seats, was ceremonial, was mayor, deputy mayor, and the city manager made the decisions. Now, I'm not saying I think we should go back to that format, but what I am saying, now they have taken our community-based seats and made them jobs and made them opportunity for stepping stones. And when they do that, they leave behind the community in hold. And what do you mean? Drive around my community, tell me what you see. There's literally, DeMar, Mrs. Gardner, in 2021, there's literally nothing for us to do unless we create it, unless we pull up at a park or a lot, or unless we create our own entertainment. So when we come from a city that there was always something to do, whether it was the Phoenix Center, whether it was the Silver Dome, whether it was at the Mill Dam, there was always something to do, whether it was in the fireworks. DeMar, I was saying to my wife about my children, what they're going to miss. Do you remember we used to have the fireworks and paddock used to be full from Wire Track all the way to the Arbor Road used to be full of people from Wire Track all the way to Martin Luther King. And we drive from Martin Luther King to Wire Track. But down there by city, it would be people everywhere having a great time watching the fireworks. But right now, we don't have that any longer. And when you try to tell the younger generation how it used to be, they don't want to hear that because nothing is going on right now. And so I said that to say there's too many companies and corporations that's benefiting from being here. And now we got to help them accountable to give back to our kids. 2 or 3 minute fireworks is not enough for me. We need fireworks back. We need vendors back on those streets, selling whether it's barbecue, chicken, or chili, or rosary, or whatever it is. We need that back here, and we're gonna get it back. And I'm not gonna say Mark gonna get it back. We gonna get it back. We, not just Mark, because when it comes, when I like I said, if I'm the smartest person in the room, then we're in trouble. It's not about Mark Holland. And when if you voting for Mark Holland, then don't vote for me. But if you're voting for a team where people are gonna know their roles, then no, I'm gonna say it on camera. I don't have a degree, but I do have success. 17-year banker. I have success as a council person. There's things that I've done that I feel that equivalent to a degree at the time, and so I'm not making no excuses. But what I am telling you, I'm assembling myself. I have already assembled myself with people with degrees in their field, and when they get an opportunity to do their jobs, watch how our city grow. Watch, Damari, when you get real people that love our community in positions to give, empower them to help our community, you'll see our city grow. Used to be when we drove by, you could recognize a Pontiac resident in a city uniform, whether it was in the water department, whether it was in the fire truck, or whether it was just holding a sign. You can say, I know that person, I know that person. But now when you drive around my community, you see all these subcontractors. They don't look like Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac.
So we have a few questions for our live chat that we want to read off. This one is coming from Sean Preston. Will you bring the CDBG funds back to Pontiac?
Absolutely, absolutely. That has to be done, but it has to be done in steps. You first have to get a department that's qualified to run those federal dollars because we did have them before, and emergency manager took away those dollars because we failed to manage them. So absolutely, like I said, beginning for those who wasn't watching, those dollars have been used to tear down homes, and I want to use those dollars to build up homes. I know people now that need some of that money for leaky roofs, windows, cabinets. And so when I was a kid here and we had it in house, I know a few people that benefited from those dollars. And so one of my fights when I was on city council is the CBG money wasn't being spent as far as what I concerned within my community. You know, how you going to bypass Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac that having a problem with their home to tear down a house? Until where now, if you look at the market, and it was all by design. So now you can't get a house in Pontiac for $100,000, you know? And you ask yourself, well, why did they take your federal dollars to tear down all these houses? Because the ones that was going to be remaining, they knew we weren't going to be able to afford.
Okay.
So yes, I'm gonna bring them back. Yes, it has to take a plan. No, that won't be overnight, but we already been starting the process, even from 2014 with Kermit Williams to bring him home. So at the executive side, absolutely, to Mr. Preston.
Okay. Instead of you answering three different questions, we have three hot butt topic issues that's going on within the city right now.
Okay.
One being the Phoenix Center, the other one being an expiring contract with the fire department, with Waterford Fire Department,
Okay.
and the third being the youth recreation millage.
Okay. Where you want me to start?
You can either one.
Start with my baby first. First, let me thank Mr. Kermit Williams and Old City Attorney Travis Mahillick for help writing those millages. Those millages, Kermit had an idea, and him and I got together and made it into fruition. So absolutely. I also like to see that millage maybe now be used to run some programs out of United Shore, seeing that they are have a development going for the community and it's going to be free. So if it's going to be free to the community, maybe we can use that for running programs. But I'm still saying to the community, I want our own. I want our own state of the art. Uh, Even with the youth village, we brought Lomas Brown to town. We also have some other contacts in the NFL that we want to bring to renovate Ewok and to make it a state of the art and run programs out of there. And then the same thing with Purdue. We want to run programs out of Purdue because they'll eliminate busing. And now to switch to the Phoenix Center, uh, I this is what I have to say. The reason why I'm against that deal is because I don't know about any other candidates, but I brought a deal to the table. So what? Before I criticize a deal, Demar, I'm not going to criticize a deal without bringing one. And this was our plan from initially. We talked to the mayor over uh, a few various times, and our plan was this. Now we can reveal it. If you can remember, emergency manager ran the Pontiac GERS, the general retirement system out of Pontiac. And from what I hear, some of the members want to come home. And what better place for them to come were the towers. Those that may not know, they made the GERS system. I think they managed somewhere close to 400 to maybe to say $500 million. They're overfunded. And so they do have an investment arm. And what that investment arm could have done was purchase those towers and put all our city services in those towers. And then we can change, like I said earlier, change our central campus into schools for our community. But if the girls have that kind of money and we can show them a partnership and a 6% return on their investment, because we are talking about real estate. And so once the city services combine, now you have a non-taxable building, and now you have city services in these buildings. Now the GERS are the landlords of this building. Now the city of Pontiac and the GERS also have the money to not only fix the building, but invest in the Phoenix Center. Just show them a plan how they're going to get return on their investment, just like they did elsewhere. The good part about our plan, that money, as well as the structure of towers, will we revert back to the city because the GERS board stopped taking retirees into the system. So we might not live to see it, but eventually our kids, when that money reverts back, so does the assets. Now the city has the towers. Now you can put your tenants. Now we have residual coming in our city with tenants. The goal is to put school board in there where the school board can get offices. There's enough space. Kelly, everyone, it's enough space in those towers for all our central services, including the courthouse. I already sent plans to the previous owner for jail space because the courthouse building is a mess. So these things were already in place. I just like to see it continue on for the visionary of our city. And then the first question, what did you ask me? I got
The last one is the fire department. It's the contract.
absolutely bringing it back. Wanted it back in 17, wanted it back in 18. I want to open up the firehouse on South Boulevard. That's immediately need to be open. Absolutely, I want to bring back firefighters. But here's what I'm going to say: we need to bring them back, and I'm going to oversee a team that specializes in that, Demar. And I'll be lying to you guys and say, well, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do this and this, and I'm no. But I'm going to do is go to some people that I know within that union, and I'm going to go with some organizers and say, okay, how do we break freely without lawsuits or litigations to bring the fire department back home? And it's a doable situation. The dialogue already started in 2017. Now, I don't know between now and then has it continued, but I've always been an advocate to bring back my fire department.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that. So this question is coming from Tom in District 4, and it's also from our live stream. It says, do you think our downtown is successful? If not, what would you do to change that?
Uh, do I believe our downtown is successful? I believe downtown has some successful owners. There are a lot of good owners down there that I have an opportunity to meet. But I just believe right now our downtown has a lot to do with our Phoenix Center because parking is an issue. Um, a lot of those buildings don't have adequate parking, and so my vision for downtown uh, is definitely develop Lot 9. My vision for downtown is to bring big box downtown, and again, my vision for downtown is to bring city services to the towers. Yeah, so absolutely. But let me hear this clearly. Um, since we don't have a DDA anymore, Demar, if we couldn't create a DDA, I would make a director over downtown to have a relationship with downtown. So downtown business owners will have a direct ear to the executive office in our team. So it won't be days that go by and no calls are made. So just hypothetically, someone like yourself who used to work for Sandy McDonald, that was our biggest mistake, and I'm saying on record when we let him leave. I was a part of his campaign, and we made that horrendous mistake by letting Sandy McDonald leave to Florida, and I can say that. But just hypothetically say that I know I don't want to put you on the spot tomorrow. I'll just say we can hire Mickey Mouse as a director with education and have a direct link to downtown. And then that way you have a liaison between downtown. They'll have a friend because as a mayor, we can't do it all. You have to pick your lanes. Downtown is that my specialty? Absolutely. What I say specialty is in people, services, and continuation of product. Continuation of product. And that's us. So absolutely we need downtown. But before we get that, City Hall has to embrace that. City Hall has to now build what I call a bridge to downtown and see what their needs are.
Okay, we got a question from Kim in District 5. What is your plan to work with small businesses and nonprofit within our community?
I am a small business owner. Again, I said it beginning that I would like to see our small businesses organized. I would like to see our landscapers organized so they can come to the bidding process with the city. I patronize my small businesses. I also want to see our vendors use more. I hate the way we're done when events are coming to Pontiac. So if an event comes at M1, and hear me clearly, so if M1 and the mayor can shut down Wide Track for drag racing, they can shut down Wide Track and put vendors down there when M1 have events, just like they do in the city of Detroit. So everybody get an opportunity to make some money. Just like with auto show coming to Pontiac, how many small businesses are getting a part of that? How many churches around that time in September has been invited to the table for parking? What about the community? When auto show come, they're going to be in the community. Did the community get any kickback from that? Cleanup, cutting through the grass. They already on the south side have problems with the loud noises 6, 7 in the morning to 10, 11 at night, 7 days a week. You can hear it anytime you go through there. And so now you're going to inconvenience the south side again and have the auto. And hear me clearly. I'm glad that the auto show is coming. Thank you. Welcome. And continue to come. We do have open arms. I am an open arm man, but I'm a Pontiac man. Let us eat also. Let the small businesses eat also. So there should have been, in my opinion, spots set up down Woodward for the auto show. So when the folks venture off the property, they can come get a real barbecue sandwich or a real chicken sandwich or fish or whatever it is that we do. And we have a lot of vendors, but now you got them up and down Woodward, just like you had the drag strip. And so I tell you this, Tamar, this is a true story. When Roadkills first came to Pontiac, they were on Pontiac Silverdome parking lot. We don't own that parking lot. We had nothing to do with it. And mind you, the Pontiac Silverdome sits in District 7. We went to a meeting, and it's supposed to have been a free event, no money exchanged. When we got through negotiating, when I said we, myself and others, we managed to get $25,000 check made to the city from Roadkill. Now, the mistake was made on my behalf because instead of them making the check out to the city, I should have had them make that check out to a nonprofit. And that's my mistake this time. So what are you saying? So I am simply saying this: when auto show comes and other folks come, have them cut checks to nonprofits because they can. And nonprofits are most churches, and churches have the ability to give money directly to the community, whether they cut your light on or give you a love offering or give you a can of beans. The city of Pontiac cannot give money from funds to directly to the city. They can't. They and Damaris, you know that we cannot take a fund and take a budget and then give that budget and give directly to a city. That's how so much mis money management happens. But there is a plan for our vendors. There would not be an event in our city under Team Holland that the vendors and contractors would not be a part of. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Well, speaking of M1, we have Stanya in District 1 says, what are your plans to restrict access to our neighborhoods from the M1 participants who are currently allowed to block our streets, driveways, and park on our lawns? If we were in West Bloomfield, Waterford, or Auburn Hills, it would not be allowed. So why is it allowed here in Pontiac?
And let me say, that's a great question. Uh, I don't know, a lot of you might remember, but back when the Silver Dome was going strong and they had the Lions and the Pistons all playing, my parents stayed in that area, and I would take us back to the 80s and 70s in that area. So during those events, uh, now it couldn't be every day. Now what has to happen every day, if they're coming down here each and every day, you have to have law enforcement. That's their job to write tickets for that type of silliness, and not just for those, just for anyone that's breaking the law. But our solution would be to do like we did back in the 70s and 80s with the Silver Dome. The residents that live in that area get permits that put on their cars. So when their cars are on the street, we'll know that the city of Pontiac residents, and we would chain off those areas, and they couldn't park up and down there. And if they did, their cars got towed. So when we was at the Silver Dome, and people park down Maxwell or Bay or any of those streets or Emerson, and if you didn't have a sticker, you call the tow truck. They come walk, their car gone. And that's when people used to park in driveways and so forth. So we will have to do that. We have to put something that's going to help the residents, especially when they having uh, big events over there. Now, am I going to promise you that I'm going to make them build a sound barrier and do all these things uh, that may need to be done? No, I don't have the power to make anyone do anything. I barely have the power to make me do something other than with my wife. But what I will do is continue to create dialogue between those residents in this company to say we got to work together. So since we are inconvenienced in this area, when we do have things that come up, why the residents can't have first vouchers to be free to some of them events? Why the residents can't be the first in that area to set up for parking or whatever it may be? But what we have to stop doing, we have to stop thinking like employees and start thinking like employers, and quit thinking that everybody in the city has to go work for someone else. There's a lot of people in here that have their own businesses that just need an opportunity to get to the table to be able to eat consistently. And right now, when you see the consistently, you see different contractors' name on those trucks that are not Pontiac-based businesses.
All right, I got a question from the Ascend Foundation. What program or plans would you implement to deal with our recidivism dynamic? What do you see needing to take place so that our brothers and sisters have a healthy, supportive environment to rebuild in?
Well, that our brothers and sisters. Okay, I didn't hear that. Supportive environment. Well, that is a great question. The first thing uh, we have to do, we first have to recognize that we are brothers and sisters. Uh, we first have to start killing each other. We have to start uplifting each other. Before we get into that question, we have to stop the clicks. all the hate, all the I don't like this person, I don't like that person, all the rumors. So before we can collectively answer any of those questions about our brothers and sisters and what we're going to do in an environment, we have to create an environment on our own of love. And it's bad, Demar. It's bad, Miss Gardner, to when you pick up the paper and these our babies are now killing our babies, killing each other over nonsense sometimes. Where Demar, when we were coming up, man, and I tell you a little secret since I got time, I wasn't a fan. First, let me just say, shout out to all my Kappa Leaguers out there. For those that don't know, Kappa League was an organization within the city, and it was a great group of young men. They were affiliate of Kappa Alpha Psi Charter. And at the time, Demar, in school, I didn't. You are, let's just say, I didn't like the Kappa Leaguers. You know, as a kid, uh, we are great friends now, but as a kid, we didn't like the Kappa Leaguers. So um, I went to Lansing, but I saw a group called Young Men of Omega. They were Omega lads. And I was impressed and intrigued with those guys. So we came home. I'll give you a quick story with Mr. Ken Long at the time, and God rest his soul, Mr. James Johnson. We did our presentation, my brother and I, Otho Scarborough. We did our presentation, and Young Men of Omega was born. Now, did I know that it would have continued over the years after I left high school? No. But I knew that we needed to come together as young men, not only to rival the Kappa Leaguers. Uh, Again, a shout out to all my Kappa Leaguers, but the Young Men of Omega. That came from my idea to bring some other guys together and make men out of them. So we studied together. Uh, we we were brothers, and that's what brought Central, the Chiefs, and the Huskies together. Was those little organizations like that? So you had Chiefs and Huskies, which were rivalries. If you're from Pontiac, you know what I'm talking about. That had rivalries, but those little organizations they brought us together as brothers, and that's how you we love one another and we uplift each other. And so that dynamic right there alone is what's needed now. We need to stop all this foolishness, all this bickering, all this pettiness, and say, look, it's time for us to heal our community and move forward. Even if it's not Mark and his team, whomever God put in that position, we need to stop this pettiness because it's only hurting us. It's only hurting our community. Because if you look around again, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, drive any direction and go outside the city limits, they're doing a lot better than we are.
And a question from our live stream is coming from Yvette B. It says, if elected, what plans do you have to put women of color in leadership positions in Pontiac?
Uh, Let me say this: as to be in a position, I couldn't look at you can't govern a person's uh, color. Whoever's best qualified for the job. I don't care what color they are. They can be a purple Martian. As long as they can do the job and help us as a city, that's it. I won't even put myself in the box to use colorism um, as a tool because we can go deep in that and we won't do that. We're here to bring people together. So are you trying to ask me, am I going to put African American women in positions? Absolutely, if they're qualified. But I'm gonna put Caucasians in there if they're qualified, Hispanics, Hmong, Vietnamese, mix, whatever you are. If you're qualified to help us and have a relationship with our community, absolutely. But I can't just say I'm gonna make a Pacific and say I'm gonna hire this group of people because I'd be alienate myself. So I'm hire anyone that's qualified with any ethnic background.
Okay, got a question from Sarah in District 1. How would you better partner with the police to help control the crime rate within our apartment complexes?
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this: when I if elected, first I need to know how many sheriffs we have. I know. I think we're supposed to be paying for 77 to 79. First, let's do an inventory to see what we have, and then we definitely got to have uh, what they call a better cat team. They used to be called, but local liaison. When I was on the council, we continue to put in the budget to add more sheriffs uh, to help prevent that. So when we kept adding in the budget, we went from, I believe, 72 to 73. When I left, I believe it was at 77. They may have added more. I think we may be at 79. I don't know. But what I would like to see, first of all, we have to self-check ourselves again, DeMar, Miss Gardner. So once we start checking our own kids, once we start checking our own language first, because when we understand, sheriff department does not prevent crime. They can't stop crime from happening. Now they can come and follow up and investigate, but we have to take accountability on what's going on here in our community. And it's our own fault. Me too. I've been here all my life, and I'm fighting with you. And so absolutely we need a better, I won't say better partnership, because there's some great sheriffs in this community, whether we recognize them or not. There's a few. And I will do a shout out to Captain Ewan and Sergeant Robin Ford. Those two gentlemen, in my opinion, are doing outstanding jobs. And I definitely want to work closer with Andre Ewan. Deputy Commander Ewan. Commander Ewan. Yeah, that's right. Commander Ewan and Deputy Commander Ford. I would definitely like to work closer. But here it is, DeMar. Imagine we was in those towers and we had the sheriff department in the buildings with us. Then we can see them and have a bond. And then we can go out here and see the trouble areas and see what we could do to help. Because one thing I'm not for is pulling us over, beating us up, and spending money. I'm not for that. I'm not for coming here and bullying us, but I am for community partnering with places that have high crime area. There's another way to go at it, I believe. But first, we have to start with our own community. This is what I also say. We can't go out here and continue to say these kids are bad. We're not giving them nothing to do. Because think about it, everything we do for them is always second rate, always second best. So how do you think our baby's supposed to feel? Like, no disrespect again to the school board, no disrespect to Mrs. Kelly Williams, no disrespect at all. I love what they've been doing, but you know, my mind is I want to see something new for these babies. So once you get their attention and you start seeing, they like, whoa. Like I said before, when our brother youth group, we were mentored. We had mentorships and made men. We got men to college. Showed them how to pull out a chair for a lady. Showed them how to tie a tie. Showed them how to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And that don't mean that you're soft. That's just showing some respect. That's just showing who we are as a man. And we don't have those functions. I can remember at Ewok where they used to teach karate, play pool, boxing, boys and girls club, swimming. But when you have a community that's not offering anything, and then on the other hand, community is getting in trouble, we can't continue to blame it on the kids. First, let's give these kids something to do. First, let's give these kids something new to be in. And then if that don't work, then we have a problem. But I'm not going to go out and say all these kids, or even adults as well. I'm not going to say that to Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac. It's an equal thing. We have to do our part as a community to give these babies something to do. And then we start judging the crime, because maybe we'll take an idle mind as a devil's workshop.
Another question from our live stream. Would you support a community benefits agreement for big corporations and new developments?
Not only do I support it, listen, when we was on city council, one of the things that we did when people didn't recognize, first of all, you can't, correct me if I'm wrong, DeMar. I know you're a businessman. I don't know, Ms. Gardner, too much about your background, but I didn't overlook you. But when a business comes to Pontiac, you can't ask a business for nothing. That's extortion. This is free world, free market. Anybody can come to Pontiac and open up shop if they have the credentials and their paperwork. When you come to Pontiac and ask for a TIFA or brownfield or any tax incentive, now we have an opportunity to ask for something back. What a lot of folks don't understand, Redico, that's the place on Telegraph. It was put into the agreement that they had to have so many Pontiac contractors on their site. The problem is we don't have follow through. Challenge Manufacturer, United Shores, Williams International, These companies have to have is in the agreement that they have to hire so many Pontiac folks because they're getting something from us, Pontiac. They're getting a tax incentive. They're getting something. What we need an executive team, we need a department that's going to follow through to ensure that they have hired. I want to see your resume. I want to go to HR and how many residents you have from the city of Pontiac. We have the right to ask those questions. Why? Because they're not paying taxes. They got a brownfield. We voted for you. We, we gave you some incentives. And so, what's the return on our investment? So, again, if you come to Pontiac and you don't ask us for nothing, we don't have the right to ask you for anything but good service. Make sure you have professional staff. Make sure your place is decent. Keep your parking lot decent, and keep decent produce and product in your whatever establishment you have. But if you come to my community and you're already looking at us and don't want to pay no taxes, and if the city say, what I say, the citizens think that that's okay, well, understand with me, what you gonna give us? That's what we did with WRC with Ewok property. They were gonna leave after they built that tank, that water tower. No, no, no. You're gonna put a basketball hoops, and if we can't have a football field since you messed it up, a soccer or foot, you're not gonna leave it like that. Anything I'm telling y'all, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, do your homework and find out. I'm telling you facts. They need a follow-up department to go, let me see your books. Because it's in the writing. If they asked us for something, they got to give us. Am I saying that these companies are not doing it or in compliance? Mark, I don't know at home because, like I say, I'm at home. But the executive side should know. The executive side should know because they are the ones that's introducing these people in so many words to get these tax incentives. So absolutely, absolutely. If you come here and you want something from us, give you a break or something legally, yes, I want something from you. And I don't want it in my pocket. Never have. I was faithful to my council seat. There's nobody out there can ever tell you I took a dime behind the scenes or in front. And if you do come and want to do business with us, give me a play set for Steve Park. Put me some basketball rims over there. A young man lost his life over there at Elm Street. And I don't blame Kermit Williams for that. I blame the budget or how they do Kermit Williams during the budget time. That's what I blame. I don't blame Kermit because I think District 7 has the most parks in the city, if I'm not mistaken. And that budget, if you're a council person or been on the legislative side, you know who controls the person is the council. But the allocations of the budget come to the executive side. And if you're not getting the allocations, I mean, it's either Murphy Park or Steve Park or Shirley Park, better known as the Creek. And the Creek almost self-managed themselves. They really ain't looking for nobody over there to do nothing for them on Shirley Street. They go over there and take care of themselves, which I love that. But if you're going to ask me for something, I want fireworks for my babies every July. I want fireworks every July. That's got to be down. I want a place escape for these parks, and I want the continuation. And look, Demar and Miss Gardner, these things I'm saying are totally legal. It's totally legal. It's illegal to ask for personal in elected position, but it's never illegal to say if you want something, yeah, I want this in return. Hire Pontiac contractors or whatever it is. That's what your attorneys work out, but it's doable. It's matter of fact, you have businesses now that should be compliant to that. It's up to us to follow through to make sure that they're doing their job.
Okay, this last question I got, it was a follow-up to a comment you made earlier. Said, we appreciate you wanting to work with churches in the community. However, most of these churches do not have pastors who live here, so they don't pour back into our community. What would be your plan B to help the money flow back into the community? And that came from Leslie in District 5.
Okay. Hey, they threw that. Yeah. Well, I laughed at that because I hear that a lot about the pastors not living here. But I won't comment on them not living here. I think that's those parishioners' business, what they want in the pastor. But I will say, And listen to me, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac. I think the real conversation has to happen now since our population has dwindled since the 70s and 80s. I believe it's time for us to merge some churches. I've been around a lot of churches. So there's no disrespect to any church in Pontiac, but a lot of membership is thin around the community. And if we could collectively, if the mayor, even the current mayor, if she happened to watch this, could call for a meeting of some churches and sit some pastors down and collectively merge some of these churches, you would see uh, I think you'll see a better service out here, less stress on a lot of these pastors. That's just my opinion. And then, secondly, again, I'm not going to depend on the pastor. So if the churches don't collectively come together and want to do a charter, then I'm gonna come to Demar. I know he got some money. I'm gonna come to Miss Gardner. I know she got some money. Mr. Lucas behind there. I'm coming to him and whomever else that want to start a partnership to do a bank. And once the bank is set up, now the only reason why I said church is because uh, they have annex buildings, and I wanted to see them collectively do something since they at one time had the biggest following. But it don't have to be a church. Anyone that collectively can come together and start a bank where we can do our own banking and we can put our own city deposits in our own banking community system, and then when you can hire the board, board of directors, and then open it public. I've been 20 years experience in banking, and know I wasn't a teller, and know I didn't work security. So the banking experience I have, I want to put that expertise into action. And other expertise that I don't have, I have people on my team that do to make sure things get done. That's the way I look at it.
All right, another question from our live stream. This is come from Pamela in District 5. Will you consider quarterly town meetings with the citizens?
Absolutely. Quarterly town. I planned on doing our team has said if we were fortunate to win this election, I think outside of the city council meeting, the mayor should have a mayor's square or mayor's circle or one-on-one with the community with her department or his department heads. And I said his or her, uh, and where they could get directly questions from the citizenry. Because what people got to be able to realize, Tuesday meetings belong to city council. That is a council meeting, and the mayor and their staff, or I should say the executive side, is strictly a guest. Period. That's charter. Look it up. That is a council meeting, and it's called a council meeting for a reason, whether you like them or not. Uh, and those are one of those things that the mayor should know their role. Now, if the mayor want to get out information to the city, that's when the team need to come together and use that same platform and get the team out and say, look, what do you want to know? What you need? What could we do to make our lives better together? Absolutely. Absolutely. Accessible. Uh, we're going to have definitely an open door because you're going to see me out here because I'm going to follow through. Because the people that I come in contact with, I don't want to run into Demar at another place of business and he called me a liar or he said something to the fact, well, you didn't do what you said you was going to do. Go, your word's not nothing. The only thing I have is my word. I'll have nothing else. And if anyone that's following me on Facebook or following my record as an elected official, everything I've ever told you has come to pass. And I've never told you that fictional. Everything I always told you was facts. And so I said that to say that job, now that it's called, which was a community position, here clearly, those jobs, which are community position, no matter what is labeled, it still belongs to you, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac. And what you have seen, what's been happening is people get elected and think that those are their jobs and those positions belong to them. Mm-mm. Those jobs belong to us as a resident. Those jobs belong to you, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, and you guys are the boss. I always have said that. And we deserve better here in our community. We are not getting banged for our buck. And it's time for us to start collectively coming together, formulating a plan, to move our city forward, to create jobs. No, I want to create businesses. I want to create corporations for our young folks. Nobody's talking about the kids. And here the babies is going to be taken care of. That's what the youth millage was for, that Kermit and I got together and do. I'm talking about the young adults. We got to have something for the young adults. When I say children, since I'm 50, I call them kids because my kids are that age. Until we start that dialogue immediately, what are we going to do for our younger generation? What are we going to do for them? And then with the younger generation, with the cannabis industry, what are we going to do to open the doors so we can all eat? It's here now, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac. There's nothing we can do about it. So now that it's here, let's organize it and let's bring the community to the table that want to participate so it's fair. That's all we're asking for. Is for to be at the table and make it fair. And right now, I'll tell you guys out there, if you like the way things are going, vote the other way. But if you won't change, Holland stands for hope. Holland stands for hope. We stand for helping our people evolve to the next generation. And we're going to make sure that the, the mothers and fathers, your children are going to be taken care of under a Holland Team administration. We're going to immediately put down seeds for new buildings, immediately put down seeds for a new high school, immediately change the contractor so they're able to come to the table and be involved. We're going to create a department for downtown to have a person that they can go to directly. We're going to also have follow-up services to make sure that that the businesses that have Tiflis and brownfields, that they're doing their part. And then we're not even going to talk about the building and safety portion of bringing building safety parts back in house and getting code enforcement, not just to pick on, and I say it clearly, tired of being picked on. The Pontiac residents drive by some of these businesses around here and check their parking lots, check their signage, check their food, see if it's spoiled. It's a way to conduct businesses. There's a way to conduct business here in the city. What bothers me is that we'll run down a barbecue pit and we'll run down and ticket mom and pop, but we'll let these other businesses come here and fry chicken out of a gas station. We'll let these other businesses come here and do whatever they want, treat us any way they want to, talk to us any way they want to, and then we continue to allow it and accept it and smile, and it has to stop. And with us, it stops and starts with us.
Okay, so just to give you an opportunity, this comment has came through a couple times, so we want to give you an opportunity to clear it up. It is the question of, are you currently running a write-in campaign? So we want to give you an opportunity to clear it up.
You know, I was done so injustice. I don't know. We're taking that. Here's the thing. There's a box that say I was a United States citizen, and I'm a United States citizen. Didn't check the box, didn't see the box, or whatever. And I'm not going to push responsibility off on anyone else. That is our fault. It's not voter suppression. That was our fault. What I'm upset about, Damar, is the process. We were never alerted that we were challenged. I have nothing official from the clerk's office by letter or phone. I had to hear from the streets that I was challenged, and that was after the fact. And then when we found out, I had to hear from the streets to go up to a meeting at 2 o'clock to find out that they didn't even look at me to even put me back on the ballot. So I asked the question to Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac. Here's the difference. When our current mayor, they said that she perjured herself. That's alleged. I didn't perjure myself. My books were in order. It was a box. The question was I a United States citizen? Everybody know. I had to ask my mom. I was born at Pontiac General. Been here all my life. The sneakiness was we wasn't alerted. Everyone had an opportunity to go and refute whatever their challenge was. We didn't get that opportunity. So ask the question. I asked the question, where's the policy? Where's the paper? Where's the procedures from a challenge? No one can give me the paperwork. No one has. And so right now to the citizens, am I still running? Yes. Am I running as a write-in right now? That question is still out. I think we're going to find legal services and try to, because even if I don't get justice, something is wrong in that clerk's office. but I'm going to say it. Care who likes it. And it's got to be some changes, and it's got to be quick. Something is wrong.
Okay.
All right. And we have a question from Sharice C. It says, Mr. Holland, you were a great councilman. Can we count on you to not sell what's left of Pontiac?
Yes, count on me not to sell. I'm trying to. I want to buy up some stuff. I want to go take day properties. Yes, absolutely. You understand? For those, my granddad, I could tell the story. Thomas Charles Holland was one of the first men in Pontiac of color to have a liquor license, the Holland store. My uncle Wallace was first mayor of the city. That don't make I'm entitled. That just shows the history. But I love my city. Even tomorrow, when I see him, there's nothing but love. When you see us, it's love. That means that we're a family. Sell our city. I'm trying to keep our city. I'm trying to help our city. I'm trying to make sure that whomever wants to do business in our community, it's fair. All I'm asking. I'm trying to make it where those who I know have been overlooked for several years get an opportunity to get to the table. I want to ensure when the cannabis industry open, I got my we have our pulse on it and it's fair. And so when it translates to the neighborhoods, they will have an understanding of what's going on. Before I leave this earth, I pray that we build new schools for these babies. These schools been around. I've been here 50 years, and so at some time I got less time ahead of me. Somebody gonna have to start the conversation about a new high school or a new building. And I'll tell you guys this: if you think change things around us is going to change, and we keep voting the same way, then you're insane. If you want things to change, you gotta vote different. Gotta take a chance. You gotta go a different direction. But right now, we've been voting the same way for how many these past years? And look at what we have: chaos, pettiness, fighting. Uh, uh, I'm not in that fight with them. We try to help these people behind the scenes. I'm not on Facebook. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a part of this. No, we're trying to get things done because we with the real folks who's getting hit real hard. Just like when the COVID money came. Uh, where is it? We put it out there, and with the money that's been coming, it should have been rapidly flowed through our community. It should have been on every poll, every website. The people that's responsible for that COVID money should have made sure that every resident in this city got a piece of that money instead of red tape. So absolutely, I'm fighting for our city. I'm Pontiac. Demar, you Pontiac. Miss Gardner, you Pontiac. We chose to stay here. We love it here. And now look around us. And even whoever y'all support, even if it's not me, even if guys say, well, Mark Holland, I don't think you should be in this any longer. We go, okay, we're going to be fine. But at the end of the day, you still ask yourself, look around you and look at the games they playing. They moving people in now to keep control. What is this? I bet you this. I couldn't move to their neighborhood and jump on no ballot and be there no year and say I'm running for mayor. Bet you I couldn't do that. And actually think about what I said. I couldn't move nowhere else and stay a year and say, oh, no, I want to be the mayor. Look at my background, my credentials. That ain't impressive. What's impressive is what are you doing to help the masses, not individuals? What have you left to help mass of people? And that's what the problem is.
All right. Right now, we apologize to anyone who questioned we did not answer tonight. We will try to carry it over to Monday and Wednesday if need be. But we want to give Mr. Holland an opportunity to give whatever message he wants to close out with, because we asked you a lot of questions, but we want to give you an opportunity to give your closing remarks and message to the public.
Again, I want to thank Ms. Gardner, Mr. Bias, again, Tracy Hurst, and Mr. Lucas in the background. Again, I thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, for listening to me. I will ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, to give me a chance, give me an opportunity to serve you. Now, if by chance that I'm not on the ballot, hear me clearly. If I find out that I'm not on the ballot, I will come back live or if opportunity to let you know if we are going to do a write-in or not. I don't know how I feel about a write-in. I know the odds against a write-in is against me, on top of the haters I have already against me. But I do believe in God, and whatever's for you, can't no man take from you. Along with no weapon formed against Mark Holland is going to prosper, and that's how I feel. So I want to say this: it's time for us to come together, and it's time for us to stop all this fighting and pettiness. And if it's not even behind a Holland administration, whoever we get behind, it's time for us to work together, man, because everybody else is passing us by. But then until we start, and I'm going to say this, and I told a young man, this is the only city, Demar and Miss Gardner, hear me closely. This is the only city that the older people that say, vote, 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 vote. But have you voted? No, no, no. But don't you run for nothing. Don't you run for nothing. But vote, vote, vote. That's not right. We got to embrace our young people and pass the baton to them. They got brighter minds. They got more energy. But when I was younger, I had energy. I'm 50. I don't have that energy no more. And so what's going on now right here with some of these people and the candidates are getting kicked off the ballot for pettiness. How's that set an example for the younger generation and the Mr. and Mrs. Piney or anybody for that matter that's watching us for all the pettiness that's going on? And it's petty for a person who ain't even from Pontiac. These people that they pushing for, he ain't even from Pontiac. And when they had an opportunity to do something for us, I'm not trying to say by individual because they might have helped individually, but mass, look around, show me what they did to help us. I'll wait. Other than that, if you think things gonna change, y'all keep letting these people tell y'all who to vote for, so be it. But if you truly want to change for your children, some new things and embraciveness and fairness and contracts of your own to be a chance at the table, Team Holland 21 is where we need your support. We need your help. It's not about King Holland or my team will tell you, I'm one of the most humble guys you can meet. But don't lie to me and don't lie to my people. And when you lie to my people, that's just like messing with me because everybody know how we are in our city. We can talk about each other, but don't let nobody else talk about us or we coming together. And that's how we are in our community. Funny like that, but I ask y'all as a community, don't believe what you heard, believe what you see. To give us an opportunity, let's put some hope in here. And hear this clearly. This is not going to happen. The plans that we have in our agenda, it won't take a 48 months. You're going to see change within the Holland administration with the first 24 months because we got people that's eager to come in. They will come now if somebody would answer the phone and just say, come on. So now the people just put the phone on hold and say, we'll wait for a change and then we'll come on in. With that, I thank you guys. I thank Pontiac United for having this, considering me. I love all the questions. I'm humbled to serve you. I'm asking for not only your vote, I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your prayers. And let me say in closing, to those that lost folks with this pandemic again, my heart goes out to you. I pray to Reverend Kevin Stimich family and to my man, Daryl Lynch. Everybody know him as Pooch. When Pooch passed, DeMar, I knew it was real. And so to those families, we still love you guys. We praying for you. And for those that's been affected by COVID and fought it, the heroes of it, the first line workers, the firefighters, the sheriff department, and anyone that's out here during this pandemic that's been fighting, helping us through this thank you so much. Even if no one else tells you, I'm telling you, God's got something for you because we need it here in our community. And with that, you guys have a great night. And you guys be blessed out there and stay safe.
And we want to thank everyone out there for joining us tonight. Please stay tuned to join us next week. On Monday, we will have mayoral candidate Alexandra Riley joining us at 6 p.m. You can also watch this episode, this Q&A session, along with the other ones from this week on our Pontiac United YouTube page and also on our Facebook page. We want to thank Mark Holland for joining us today, and thank you, Damar, for also joining us.
And big shout outs again to F&G Media for hosting this whole entire series, and we'll see you again on Monday.